computer. There we go. Good morning. Yay! Look at all of our wonderful Brady Bunch faces. I am excited to have you all here. I am, many of you might not know who I am. I'm Gwen Schmidt. Hi, Janine.
Hi.
I started coaching about 7 years ago. I had my 7-year coach anniversary in the end of March. I bought my kit, started coaching the first week in April. And I've only missed one convention in those 7 years' time, and I kind of kicked myself. And this year was pretty inspiring. And my business has kind of gone really, really high and kind of gone down a little bit, but it levels off at a pretty good place for me. But I realized during this last convention, one of the things that I really missed was this, training calls. So I used to do a 7 a.m. call every Saturday morning. Everybody blew the horn and everybody sent their coaches. They could trust that we weren't going to, train off doctrine. It's pretty much what you know is what we know is what we train, and it's duplicatable. So you can trust that you do not have to have your butt in a seat to send your coaches here. New coaches, yay! That applies to you as you add coaches as we go. You can get on and you guys can learn shoulder to shoulder, which is what we're looking for. All of the leaders are looking to bring all of our coaches up so that we have a thicker thieves group of leaders. So that's our goal for this call. And the second thing is to just review some new things that are going on. We are very excited about Optavia. For those of us who were there last year when they kicked it off, it felt a little scary because we had done this other stuff for so long. But this convention just really felt like it was cohesive and professional and seamless. Now, have there been a couple of little hiccups since we got home? There have. Many of us, just little hiccups. But that's how it's going to be when you're transforming a brand. And I'm amazed that this has happened in the short amount of time that it has. So what I'd like to talk about this morning is a couple of things. I want to show you, I'm going to share screen with you and show you where you find a couple of things, and then we're going to train on the new Optavia health assessment. Okay? So I'm going to stop right there. Anybody have any questions or anything they want to add there, or are you all good to go? We're good to go? Okay, so we're going to go over here and we're going to share screen. So what I want to show you is when you go into your back office and it looks like this. Can you all see that?
Yep.
Yes? Okay. Now when you go to resources where we used to go to type into our document library, if you've not been here, if you're a brand new coach, this is your back office. Don't look at my 569 frontline volume clients that haven't ordered. You're going to go over here. You're going to just hover over resources, and then right here there's Optavia answers. If you've not seen it, this is a pretty cool thing. There's lots of things here that you can click around and see. I believe this is going to take the place of Coach Connection. I think that's the goal of this, from what I can tell. I clicked around a lot in it last night and again today, and I think that this is just going to be a little easier for you to get around in and navigate. So for today's purposes, we're going to go to Business Support, and we're going to click on Document Library. And see this fun little search place right over here? You type in whatever you're looking for. So I'm going to type in the top of my, I typed in assessment. And as soon as I start to type, I love this. As soon as you start to type, it will bring up the things that it's suggesting. It's suggestive for you. So here's our Optavia Health Assessment fillable. Okay? So this is what this new form looks like. I need to move you guys out of here. It's 2 pages. If you scroll to the bottom, there's another page. If you're like me, I need to hover so my little buttons come up down here, and I need to enlarge it so I can actually read what it says. Now you can print from here, okay? But before we do that, I want to show you, you can also shop and get these, okay? So here I am over here, and if you guys haven't seen what's going on over here, I'm going to do this really quick. You must log in as yourself, if you didn't know this already, to see this health coach store over here. See this? So 2 things I want to show you really quick before we go back to that health assessment. Marketing materials. This is the new Optavia Coach Kit that you've been hearing about. Okay? This is what you can order as a current coach. If you want to see and have the new stuff, you can order this for $95. And you get all the fluff in there, which looks like this. A water bottle. This is a desk set. It sits on your desk to hold your binder and all of your stuff. It's got a whole bunch of different stuff in there. Stuff. Okay? But if you don't need or want to spend that, you can just order this binder, which is the guts of the stuff that has the file system and everything that your new coach is going to see, you will have at your hands, in your hands. Okay. I would highly recommend this. If you are a new coach within the last 30 days, you're going to get this kit. Okay. Now over here, for people who are just buying the kit, is it there? No, it's $199. It's still the same price. Okay. I want to show that. Okay. Any questions about that?
I have one quick question, Gwen. This is Amy. Do we know how many assessments will come in our new kit?
I'm assuming, I'm going to show you that right now. I'm assuming it's going to look like, I'm hoping they do this little packet. This is what I was going to show you about how you can order it.
Oh, yes, it's a pad. Okay.
Yep, it's a pad. Does it say how many there are? It does not say how many there are. It just says this pad.
Okay.
It looks like there's
but
about,
this-
I think there's like 25, I think.
There you go. Did you get it?
Yeah,
I
got it
did.
yesterday.
Nice. So this is where you can order these that are front and back if you want to get them and have them so that you don't have to print them. You can order a pad of these for $3 and you can add it to your B-Slim kit. Okay? Your B-Slim order. Does that make sense? Otherwise, when you print it off, well, I'm not a real professional here at home with my printing things, but when you print it off, you can print it in black and white, and it looks like this. But I don't get to my printer quick enough to do, and it's not professional enough to do this. So I get the back page with the front page. So needless to say, I have a couple of pads of those coming. Okay. So that's how you can find those. Poke around in there. Get familiar in that Optavia resources. It's a really cool thing. It will get, if you weren't at convention and you didn't get that cup filling thing, go there and poke around. Okay. Also, if you are not in Agents of Transformation, unless you're brand new coach, you might be overwhelmed there. Talk to your mentor before you go there. But if you are a coach that's been around a while and you are not in Agents of Transformation,
Facebook site. Yeah.
Facebook group, search it and add yourself. That Take Shape for Life now, which is Optavia, that they're using that Facebook group to roll things out. Pictures, videos, upcoming things. Before convention, they were doing contests and just a whole bunch of stuff. Their social media support and level of excitement is at a whole new level with that group. So if you're not already in there, I would highly suggest you add yourself. Okay? All right, so let's talk about that health assessment again. Let me see if I can go back. Yep, I'm going to go back here. I'm going to go right here. Okay, hang on. I'm going to go back. And I'm going to share my screen again. So this is specifically what I want to train with you guys today. Okay. I have a new coach, Debbie, who couldn't be on this morning. She will be next week, who had interested calls set up for me immediately upon getting back from Dallas. So we had this on Monday, and I don't know if I'd heard about it or we looked for it or Alicia and Valerie helped me, but I sent this link in my 3-way chat that I set up with my support group. I sent with my coach. I sent this link for her to go there and find this. And I want to point out the numbering. Do you see the 1 and the 2 and the 3? And when you scroll down to the bottom, the 4, and then you go back up to the top, and here's 5, and here's 6. Okay? I honestly don't know how this can get any easier. So you put your information at the top. Here's the height. The height is misspelled. They know it. They're fixing it. You put the name of your interested call. If you have their address, I usually put their email address. I did put their email address right here. The date that we're doing the interested call, and I put IC next to it so that I know what day I talk to them, because we are assuming they're going to be a client, but we don't always know that. So for follow-up purposes, I put IC and the date that we spoke there. They don't have a client ID yet, so you'll fill that in later. So number 1, here we go. Look at it. Very brief. Thank you for taking the time to chat with me. I remember when I reached out to my coach, it can be a little bit intimidating, so I'm really glad we're connecting now. Do you have to say that verbatim? Absolutely not. But it gives you an idea of how to say hello, right off the top. The purpose of this conversation is to take you through a few questions. The reasons for those questions is to assess where you are now and appreciate where you'd like to be so that your program can be personalized to you. Share with me in any way you feel comfortable so we can design something that meets your needs and goals. Sounds good? Sound good? I kind of, in that little sentence right there, I always, all the years that I've been doing this, reassure the people that I'm talking to that what we talk about is confidential. Because if this is a 3-way call with a new coach, that person doesn't know anything about me most of the time. So they might feel really comfortable with their coach and they've agreed to get on the phone with me. But as a mentor coach, when I'm doing that, I am in that line right there. I talk about that. I say, just so you know, what you say here with Debbie and I is completely confidential. You can share anything. And that goes the same way if you're dealing with someone where you have a lot of mutual friends. Sometimes those little spidey senses, when you're talking to someone and asking personal questions, that comes up. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's a really good thing, just to make people a little comfortable there. So now we go to 2. Let's begin by understanding where you are in your overall health. The reason for this is just to appreciate how you're thinking and feeling about your own health right now. And again, do you have to say it verbatim? No. But if you do, and you just go right down the list, this is what makes this duplicatable, you guys. This is what's going to make it easy for you to say to your new coach, okay, here we go. I've done it 3 times with you. Do you feel comfortable? And I just did it with my coach that I did this with. We did 3 calls on Monday. She had 3 calls set up on Tuesday. And after we did the 3 calls on Monday, I said, do you need me on Tuesday? And she goes, no, I think I have it. I just follow the numbers and go down everything. Really great. Here's your desired future. This is dream weaving. Okay. What is the first health goal you'd like to achieve? And I say right here where it says, can you tell me about a time in your life when you have been healthier? I say, personally, can you close your eye? When they say right here, what is the first health goal you'd like to achieve? Well, I'd like to lose 50 pounds and I'd like to get off my blood pressure medicine. And I say in the next question, okay, can you close your eyes for me? Do you have your eyes closed? Can you close your eyes and remember a time in your life when you were there? When you were that healthier person, when you weren't on medication? Can you describe that to me? And then I just bullet point here when I fill it in. I could hike. I was hiking, and this is where you do the dream weaving stuff, because those are the things you're trying to find that don't have a connection always to weight. That's the beauty of Optavia, right? The weight part of it is just one thing. So that's where I do that. I know there's not a lot of lines here, And I know that we're training to really be a compassionate listener. And after you've got a lot of clients, you want to be able to bring them back to their why. So this is how it is. Find a place. If you have to scroll down and write it on the back, over here on the back side, or even write it in the first part of their filling in here journey kickoff call. See that? Just find a place that you can write it. I can't make the spots bigger. So we have to just do what we can with this. Also, for those of you who are not paper people, and new generations are coming like that, and you don't want to have these, this is editable. So you can just put your cursor there and fill it in as you go. And then you can save these that way if you'd like. Okay? Yes? Got that?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions? I'm going to take a breath.
When I played with this the other day, it was a little janky on my system, but I don't know if it's, I was over under the current state trying to type in there, and it kept, it may have been on my end, but I had some problems. Do you want to just type in there real quick something and see? And then go to the next one and see. That's where it copied. Yeah,
Oh.
see, it copied what I had done. So then it was like, well, that's messed up. I don't know what that means. So you might just want to print for now until they work out that.
Okay. And honestly, you guys, I'd put that $3 pack in your B Slim right now. For right now, until it gets there, print here. Print these. Everybody knows how to do that, right? This little printer right here when it comes up on the top right. Okay? And when I do that, I print in black and white. I don't use my ink. So however, if you're not savvy with that, there's usually a drop down and I change it to a black and white. Okay? That's just what I do when I'm doing it. So nice details there, Valerie. I'm not a save it on my computer, so I did not try to edit it. Okay, so we go down to desired future. Thank you for sharing. There's one more question that's also important. What would it mean to you? Here we go, right? To get to that place that you've talked about. I just like to check my understanding. This is where you are doing those bullet points. That's why we're not doing this up here in long, drawn-out sentences. Practice this. You can write it on a piece of paper, but then go back to their health assessment and put their bullet points in. Excuse me. So, because here's where you are down here. I just like to check my understanding of what I've heard. Or you can say, so what I've heard so far, when it comes to your overall health, you'd like to lose 30 pounds. You'd like to get off of blood pressure medicine. And it would mean that you can play with your grandkids and get back on your bicycle and do your outings and get to that healthy family place again. Recap. And not long drawn out. Remember, we're not trying to make this a 90-minute, health assessment interested call. We're trying to do it and get through it. Keeping our compassionate listening on and repeating. But again, you want to pick the important things. You want to pick the health things, and then you want to pick the things that are going to create their why picture for them. When down the road, they get to that point where they're starting to feel a little frustrated with whatever's going on in their life, and then you bring them back to, remember when we talked about you wanting to get back on your bicycle? Have you tried that yet? Are you able to get back on your bicycle and ride? You want to bring them back to those places, and that's what you do there. Down at the bottom, this is really important. This is an opposite thing of what we used to do. We used to tell our story at the beginning. We used to I don't know about you, but it was sometimes a little uncomfortable for me. It felt like, well, let me tell you my story right off the bat. So this flop seems perfect for what we're doing because it's not about us. It's about them. So we don't start out with about us. I do say at the very beginning, how do you know Debbie? If it's a three-way call. And if it's a complete stranger on Facebook that's messaging me, which many have been because I'm making 5 new friends a day, and some of them I don't have any mutual friends with. So I have to get to know them a little bit before I ask them these personal things. So I do a little bit of fact finding at the beginning if I'm already not connected to them. Hopefully I've been connected enough to them in a chat where I've started the conversation. Oh, what do you do? You know, do you still live in Oakdale? Oh no, I live in New Mexico. This just happened last night, brand new friend. I do that a little bit. So when you get down here to number 4, could I take, and I don't say, I don't want to say I don't say this. I haven't said this. Could I take 90 seconds to share a little bit about my story as your potential guide on your transformation journey? Those words would not come out of my mouth normally. Again, we want it to be duplicatable though. So when you're doing it with a new coach and you're training, this is good for them to have this written down, because when they start to think that they have to put it in their own words, they start hearing all this chatter about, oh my God, what am I going to say there? Well, if I'm not going to say that, you know? So here we go. Could I take 90 seconds to share a little bit about my story as your health coach, or as your mentor, as Debbie's health coach on your journey through health? Whatever happens there. But I think for the first few times, you can say it like this. And then I just say this. I just say, you know, 7 years ago, I felt helpless. I was a breast cancer survivor. We were struggling financially. We had 2 kids in college. I didn't know when my husband was going to be able to retire. I was afraid of a recurrence. I found this program, and 6 months later, I lost 55 pounds, and our lives have been transformed. Once you're part of our Optavia community, there's so many like-minded, like-hearted people you can connect with who've been through this journey. There are many inspirational stories of lifelong transformation by simply adopting one healthy habit at a time. So again, those don't sound like my words, but the person I'm talking to doesn't know that, and the more you practice that, the easier it is. Okay, so that's where you share your story now in number 4. Then now we go up here to number 5, daily routines and habits. I have been using this verbatim. So now we're going to talk about habits. I'd like to ask just a few more questions to appreciate a little bit more about your daily routine. Talk me through a typical weekday from first thing in the morning to the last thing at night. So what time do you typically wake up? Now I just had a shift worker. The one I just did a couple days ago, she was a shift worker. So she has different, times. So I had to write in that little bitty line those things. But now I know she's a shift worker. Man, that's hard. It's hard as a person, it's hard as a client, and it's hard as a coach to coach the client. How do you feel upon waking up? When do you have your first meal? What do you eat throughout the day? How much water would you say you drink? This is huge. This is huge, because this is going to temper when you tell them they're going to drink a gallon of water a day. We're going to kind of tiptoe into that if they say, oh yeah, I'm not a water drinker. I don't even, I maybe take a little sip when I take my blood pressure, diabetes, GERD pills, right? So when that all happens, so pay attention to that, because you want to temper what you're going to say later on about the program, so this doesn't scare them away. What other beverages do you drink? In other words, are you a Diet Coke fiend? Are you a regular Coke fiend? Are you a beer drinker? Are you a wine drinker? No judgment here. I just need to know that as your health coach and going forward. What about weekends? What does a typical weekend like? And again, here we are with the other beverages. So when they tell you here a typical day, well, I usually have a beer after work. Now we're going to go to weekends. So when you say, what does a typical weekend look like? Again, review these. What do you do when you get up? You know, your routine the same. So you said you have a beer after work during the week. What is it like on the weekend? Okay, so don't forget to incorporate what you've already learned into that next sentence, because this could be completely different, and we need to know that too. How often would you say you eat out? I love this. This has helped me a lot with getting an idea of whether I'm going to have a pushback with cost. It's been spot on. If they eat out 3 or 4 times a week with their family of 5, the cost here, as we talk about this, what kind of restaurants? Typically, Americans spend about $15 to $20 a day on food. Do you think you spend that much, or do you think maybe you spend a little bit more? Man, this is really good right here for later on. How about sleep? How would you describe the quantity and quality of sleep each week? I I ask specifically when they go to bed at night and what time they get up and if they feel rested. I ask those things. How would you describe the quality and quantity of exercise you do each week? Are you exercising right now? Are you doing it every day? Are you huffing and puffing? Are you weight training? Are you riding your bike, etc.? What do you do for work? That usually comes up at the top when they talk about what time they get up in the morning. But if it hasn't, you want to know this, because again, that shift work thing, a nurse, a firefighter, everybody knows all the different things that can come in with different professions. Here's our 1 to 10 scale. I love this. And I know I'm going fast. Write your questions down and I'm going to take a breath in a minute. I love the scales. On a scale of 1 to 10, I say this to people in general conversation, when they talk about what's going on in their life and just stressors. I say, so on a scale of 1 to 10, stress-wise, 1, you don't have any, 10, you're like off the charts. Where are you? And I actually don't even say, where are you? I say, where do you live? What stress level do you, because we all have, 10 days, and some of us have 1 day, probably not a lot of us, but some of us. So I don't really want to know their spikes. I want to know where they live. So where do you live? Well, I live at about an 8. Oh, okay. So is your stress work or family? Where is that stress at? And I'm specific about that. Again, this is another one of those things for later on. If it's a financial need, if it's either working 2 jobs, the shift work, they'd like to get off of that. And you're also going to find that for their weight loss down the road. How would you describe your energy level on a scale of 1 to 10? One final question. On a scale of 1 to 10, how ready are you to do what it takes to improve your health and reach your healthy weight and other goals? Okay? So they give you a number here. If they're not a 10, ask them what's keeping them from being a 10. They don't have that right here in this, but you should ask it, because this is where things start to unfold. So now here's your compassionate listening. Here's your summarization, right? So all of these questions up here now you're going to repeat. So let me understand about your daily routine when it comes to your typical day, and just review what you just talked about. Okay? Those are your bullet points. That's the reason you don't want to write a novel on every one of these lines. It takes practice. If you need to write a lot for now, write a lot for now. But you want to get it to where you're only putting your bullet points there. Okay? So now we move up to number 6, you guys. Look, here we are, right at the top. Share of the Optavia story and program. I'm not going to read this because it's going to take too much time. But this is describing the program. So you can't give an invitation if you've not told them what the program entails. 6 small meals a day, 5 of them are delicious, scientifically designed Optavia fuelings, and the 6th meal consists of cooked lean meats and veggies. It's what we call the lean and green meal. And I've had the last 2 gals have said, what was that again? Lean and what? Lean and green. And it's like, they don't know the verbiage. So don't just, all fast. Be clear in what you're saying and describing. So you just go right down. Here we go, right? I'll talk to you every week about the progress you've made. Knowing that call is coming will help you keep on track. Here we go. I'm conscious that might have seemed like a lot to take in when hearing it for the first time. And of course I can send you all this information over to you. I don't say that. That's one line on this whole thing that I don't say, because I want them to ask the questions right now. I don't want to send them to my anything. I mean, I just don't want to do that. So I just say, I'd like to answer I just skip. I'm conscious that I know, I don't say conscious. I know that might've been a lot that we just reviewed. So, I'd like to answer any questions you might have about what I've shared and what's important to you as you consider joining the Optavia community. And then stop talking and ask questions. Listen, ask questions. Listen, ask questions. Listen, ask questions. Okay, that's what we're doing here. We're compassionate listeners. So now we're going to scroll down and we go to 7. Now you've had a chance to talk it through a little bit, and I think this program would be a great fit for you. I love Optavia. In just a few days from now, you could be enjoying your Optavia program. So there's, and again, this part right here is, I just say, so are you ready to get started? This says there are two ways we can get started. On the phone right now, or I can send you an email with a digital brochure and video that recaps what we talked about. It's up to you where we go from there. Well, I haven't seen, I don't know right now in my coaching business where I don't have these two things at my fingertips. This digital brochure and a video that recaps what we talked about. I don't have that. So I don't say that. I just say, so are you ready to get started? Okay. So here, look, still numbers. Look at the numbers. So if they say not yet, here's what you say. And here's the date for the follow-up. This is huge, huge. I need to talk to my husband. Great. So it's a little late tonight, so I'll give you tomorrow. So how about Sunday around 4? Would that work for you? Yep. Okay. And here we go. If yes, fantastic. Welcome to Optavia. Let me get your information. And again, you guys, I've gone to the kit. I'm doing the optimal essential, the one with the book. The kit with the book. They have redone that kit. Let's go over here. They have redone that kit. If you have not seen that, you need to look. Are we still on? Oh, we were still on share screen. Sorry. You need to go there and look at it. It's all essential. Come on, you can do it. Kits. Optavia Essential Optimal Kit with the Habits of Health System. This one. So I add this to my cart, and then I go and add, depending on what they do, what they like, I do bars and more bars and shakes. Most of the time I do grab and go stuff because I haven't met anybody yet that isn't too busy to do stuff. I mean, it's just crazy busy, right? So this is what I do. So it ends up being, for me in California, and I know everybody is different, and I put this in my notes so that I would remember every time, my total for my first client ends up being $384.15. And that's with this kit and 5 free boxes.
So how are you getting that price less than what it says there?
It's a discount for the first order.
Oh.
Alicia knows those things, but I had to write it down because all 3 clients this week, it's ended up being $384.15. $2 tax for me in California.
For the books.
I guess.
Yeah,
it is. Here I am again. I really am not a good detail person. I just know I wrote it in my notes so that I would know on my phone, because even yesterday, it was the 3rd person I placed the order yesterday afternoon this week, and I couldn't remember what it was. So for me it was $384.15. Easy peasy. So I get their mailing address. I get their shipping address. I say, is your shipping the same as your billing? Yes. I get their email address, which I usually have. I get their credit card information, and I say it's going to be $384.15, and depending on where they live, I tell them how long it will take them to get there, and then I order it.
Gwen?
Yes.
I know how it's coming up less. It's because you're adding you're picking out the 5 free boxes, and so if, let's say, you're adding 5 essential at $20.95, then it's taking $114.25 off at checkout instead of just adding the 5 free. Do you know what I mean? So if you didn't add the 5 free, but then you get to that last screen, you could click choose my own 5, and then I think it'll be $392 instead of the $382.
Oh, well, don't do that.
Yeah. So that's a thought.
I always just put the 5 free in my buggy.
Yeah. So that's why it's coming up
I've
less.
always done that. It's such a pain to go to the Be Slim and then these are the 5 that are included and here's the arrow, choose your own, and then quick shop, blah, blah, blah. That's just really been hard for me. So I just have been putting 5 in my cart.
Yeah.
At the very beginning. And when I get to the end, it takes it off and that's just what it has been. All 3 people
Yeah.
this week.
It's because it's giving the client $22.95 times 5 free, whether they picked an Optavia Select or not. So that's why you're coming under that amount.
Okay.
So let me just clarify. So what you're saying is we should add when we put the order in, we're putting the kit in plus 5 more.
Right. So I would do this. I would click add. And it would go to my cart, it's in my cart. That's the other up there. And then because I just talked to him about it, I go down here to Fuelings. I just did it last night. Her husband's a policeman, so she wants to order some things for him to try, the bars for him to try and her son to try. So I said mint, and she said yes. And I said cranberry, honey nut granola, and she said yes. And I added that one. And literally, I added, so for this purpose, let's do this. And I just did essential. I am moving my clients away from classic, and I do not do the Optavia Select. I think for me personally, with my clients, do some of them love this? Yes. But to go from normal eating right to Select is really hard for a lot of people's palates because of the all natural stuff. If they're already eating clean and they're coming to you because they're eating clean and they're looking for fuelings like that, great. But if they're not, this takes a really long, in my experience, this takes longer for my clients' taste buds to adjust to it. Would you all agree with that? No?
Yeah.
It just depends.
So I don't do the Optavia. I stay here with the Select. So so I put in 2 already. So here's my 3.
So usually what I do is I just click on the kit and then I go to checkout and then it pops up those 5 default free. And then I just click to select your own. And then that is where I might choose 2 or 3 of the Select. Where I might choose 2 or 3 of the Select and then the rest essential. And so it's actually pretty quick, but I'm just trying to point out that if you do it that way, it'll keep your volume at the $3.92, obviously like the books.
Got it.
But if you do it the way Gwen's saying, then it's going to knock it down to like $3.82 plus a couple dollars for books.
And that's why we have other coaches in our group, because my mind is thinking about keeping the price less for the client. And Alicia, not that she doesn't always think about the client, but also keeps her frontline volume in her peripheral vision. That's the difference.
I like it that way because it's going to be more next month. And I tell them on month 2, you're getting 5 free boxes. This is the price, but I just want you to know. And I don't say how much. I just say it's going to go up a little bit too. Now you're not going to have the books to purchase, but it will go up but the good thing is you earned X amount of rewards and that's going to come off too. So I usually say, depending what you pick, it's anywhere from $40 to $60 more. Month 2. So that's why I just keep it that way.
Okay, I'm not going to go through this, but you guys see how this is. Here's the pay it forward thing right here. You do not have to pay. You do not have to say that you pay a referral fee. New coaches, do not let this scare you. I say, and your transformation and moving towards forward towards your health journey always help if the people around you are doing it with you. If you have someone else who's on the same page as you. So can you think of anybody else? And it's kind of a combination of 10 and 11. If you want to pay a referral, $10, $15, $20, $25, that's great. But please do not let this be something that you instill in your new coaches who are most of us when we first started were struggling financially. So this is something that maybe they want to do down the road if they feel strongly about it and they want to do it now. In the old days, Take Shape for Life used to give 10. So we just, that was an automatic thing. They paid it. So I just would add 10 to it and it would be 20. Well, they don't do that anymore. So this is coming out of your coaches, everyone's pocket. So, and that's great if you want to do this and it's something you feel passionate about, but that duplicatable thing, this could be a struggle for some people. So we want to make sure that we talk about this right here, this number 10 box. Make a note. If you have new coaches that are doing this, you want to talk about the number 10 box with them when they're going through this, okay? And then this is for you to do your check-in calls and your updates on the back, just like our normal stuff, okay? I know we're going long here, you guys. I really wanted to make this 30 minutes. I really, really apologize. Okay, I'm going to shut up now, and I'm going to let you talk. Questions?
So I have a question. So you're sending this in a private message or email before an interested call? No.
Nope, not anymore.
I thought you said that in the beginning.
No,
That's what
I sent this to my coach.
Oh, gotcha. I was wondering because I was like, how is that information? We don't want the.
I sent this to my new coach because we just got back on Sunday and we were doing these on Monday. And
I got that.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
I sent the link to my coach.
Yep, got
So
it.
she had it. No, I do not. I'm not sending, and I have been sending the health assessment before the interested call. That's been working for me. But with the things, everything changing, I'm just doing this one step at a time, and I'm trying to use the Optavia forms and procedures so that it's going to be duplicatable for when my new coaches come on, and as they're growing, everything is the same.
So can you do us a favor, Gwen? Can you email coach support and ask them what the video is?
Yes.
And whatever there was 2 things in that, and find out what that is for us.
Yep. It was a digital review. It was a digital review. Yep. I will do that.
And I agree. I'm not really saying that either because our goal obviously is to get them signed up, that day and get them started while the iron's hot. But I would like to know for our own, maybe that's a video we can use or something. So.
Right. And a really good point there is that you could get there and they could say, I'd really like to talk to my husband about this. Is there anything you can send me?
Yes.
They may ask that without us even offering.
Yes.
So if we want to follow this and stay, again, duplicatable, we need to know what that is that they're referring to in that health assessment. Yep, I will do that this morning, and I'll put it in green light.
Awesome.
Any other questions or comments?
I have a question, Gwen. Okay, so I'm not sure I'm understanding exactly when you go through this health assessment. Because so much of it really is, it really is sharing the program. A lot of things that we say. So are you using this health assessment as your interested call?
Yes.
You are?
Yes.
Okay. So the script that we had, potential clients, is being replaced with this?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay.
And this is what's inside the binder for your new coach.
Okay, I wasn't able to attend a convention. Some of you might know my situation, but so I missed out on some of that.
It's okay. That's why we're here. That's why we're connecting and doing these things. Yep. And this is the very first thing that everybody needs to know how to use and what to do. So that's why this call is on this. As this week progresses, things are going to pop up with my coaches and your coaches. And if you want to reach out to me in private message and something that you're seeing is a really big gap right now, then we'll talk about that next Saturday. And we will keep it 30 minutes, I promise.
Thank you.
When you jump late, where do you find this other than it coming in the kit that we ordered?
Oh, yes. In your go, I'm going to show you. Watch again really quick, Lisa. Back office, resources, Optavia answers.
Okay.
Watch this. Dun, dun, dun. Business support, document library, And this is that thing where people were talking about, Amber and different people were talking about it being predictive. It knows what you want. As soon as you start to type in assessment, here it is.
Nice. Okay.
Okay.
Or order the tear off pad.
Or order
Yeah.
your pad. Or go into your marketing materials. Once you log into your ordering site, Lisa,
Mhm.
go to marketing materials, and that's where the kit is for already coaches for $95, just the binder for $18.95, and a pad of those for $3.
Awesome. Okay. Fantastic.
Okay, any other questions?
Just that same, just as a point of reference, you can type in coach answers at that URL without even going into OIM, which is kind of a quick thing. So what, I don't remember what the URL is exactly. Coach answers, and it already popped up on mine because on my computer because I'd already done it once. But
Right.
anyway,
That is another way to get there, but I
yep.
would highly recommend everyone going into their back office every single day.
Yep.
And pretty quick, I found my notes actually before we got on this call, that the things that are going to change back there are going to be amazing. You're going to be able to have little avatars on the top of all your coaches for business leaders. Your B Slims are going to be in real time coming up. It's going to show you where they are on what's processed and what's going to process. You're not that whole going into the back office and doing reports, and that is, they're going to start that beta testing or alpha testing. I don't know what the difference is between the two, but all that is starting in August, and they're saying by the end of the year, our back office will change. But in the meantime, if you're not getting into your back office every single day and keeping track of things and watching what's going on, even if your business is not growing, you should be going in there and clicking around and getting familiar with it. Okay? All right. Anything else that we didn't cover? A question that you have that we didn't cover, but you really need this burning desire to get it answered this morning while you have all these wonderful leaders. Are we good?
Thanks,
Yeah?
Gwen.
Okay, so we're going to do this Saturday mornings, y'all. 7 a.m. Pacific, just like this. We're going to do it every Saturday morning. Send your coaches. The topic will change. There won't need to be as much screen sharing as this time. I just really wanted you all to see that those Optavia connections. And so this recording could live in Greenlight, and our coaches that couldn't be on could see it. So we'll keep it at 30 minutes. And I hope to see you all next week, and bring a coach.
Thank you.
Gwen.
Bye.
That's great.